In Camelot, a young boy named Arthur tells his girlfriend Guinevere about Merlin's prophecy of him finding Excalibur and becoming Camelot's first king, and gets mocked by Kay. Traveling the realms looking for stories to record, Isaac meets Cruella. He helps her escape from her mother's attic and takes her to Murray's club. Isaac demonstrates his author powers by summoning jewels and giving Cruella persuasion magic. He also gifts her his car. Unbeknownst to him, she steals his quill. Madeline confronts Isaac and tells him about Cruella murdering her 3 husbands. Cruella uses her new powers to kill her mother. She then murders her 2 dogs and sews a Dalmatian coat out of their fur.
Why?
It's the question on everybody's mind, isn't it? I wish I had an answer. Some people struggle not to be drawn into the darkness. Ever since I was a little girl, I've said, why not splash in and have fun?
Isaac spills the enchanted ink over her, giving her black and white hair, and takes her ability to kill with the author's quill.
I learned a lesson from you. Take what a person loves and destroy it.
Meanwhile, in the enchanted forest, Robert, who has become an alcoholic to drown out the guilt he feels for giving up his son, learns that James has been kidnapped and wants to rescue him. Before he goes, he vows to Ruth to do better for the boy and to stay sober, and David gives him his lucky coin.
Fixing this broken family. This is how I finally fixed myself.
Robert visits the Dark One, who tells him James went to Pleasure Island.
Someday, may we all be reunited with our sons.
On Pleasure Island, Robert meets Pinocchio and finds James. King George also arrives, and when Robert doesn't want to return the boy to him, he orders his men to kill Robert and takes back James by force. The king's men prepare to make his death look like an accident, but are stopped by Hook and his pirate crew. Instead of freeing Robert, however, Hook kills him anyway.
Dead men tell no tales.
2 weeks after Robert began his journey, the local constable informs Ruth and David that they found Robert's dead body in the wreckage of their cart covered in alcohol. In Arendelle, Queen Gerda and her husband prepare to return to Misthaven looking for something to take away Elsa's powers. Before they leave, they visit Grandpappy and ask him for advice. On their journey, they meet with Rumple, who is unable to help them. Returning from Misthaven, Gerda shipwrecks in a storm. She manages to throw a message in a bottle into the ocean before the ship goes down. Geppetto rescues Pinocchio from Pleasure Island. Meanwhile in Oz, Will's sister Penelope falls through the ice on a lake and drowns. In the enchanted forest, Regina is unsure of continuing her magic lessons as she does not want a future like her masters. When she accidentally falls from a castle balcony, she is saved by Tinker Bell.
I can help people find what they need, Regina.
And what do I need?
Love. You need love.
You're gonna help me find another soulmate.
The fairy wants to help Regina find love again. Even though the blue fairy forbade it, Tinker Bell steals pixie dust and leads Regina to a tavern. A man inside with a lion tattoo on his arm is destined to be her soulmate. Regina, however, is scared and doesn't go in. She later lies about the spell not working and calls Tinker Bell a terrible fairy. Blue no longer believes in Tinker Bell and she loses her wings. The man in the tavern is a thief named Robin of Locksley. A few days later, he steals Marion's father's horse but later returns it to her as well as giving her his own 2 horses. The two fall in love and marry shortly after. Robin gives up his thieving ways and now runs a tavern with his wife. The sheriff of Nottingham confronts him about overdue taxes. Rumple makes a deal with Robin, offering him gold if he steals the elixir of the wounded heart from the Wicked Witch for him. He sends him to Oz using Jefferson's hat. In Oz, Robin meets Will and is asked to steal some of the potion for him as well. Robin steals 1 vial of the elixir, an enchanted bow and a 6-leaf clover, but he is caught and barely escapes Selena. Robin tells Will he failed and Will shares that he needed the potion to mend his broken heart after his sister's death. Robin then decides to do the honorable thing and leaves the elixir for Will. In the meantime, Rumple kills a fairy guarding his mother's wand and takes both of their wands into his possession. When Robin returns empty-handed, he sees Rumple placing the fairy's wand onto a pedestal. The Dark One is angry with him for returning empty-handed and threatens to kill him if he ever sees him again. After his adventure in Oz, Robin begins stealing from the rich and giving to the poor and becomes known as Robin Hood. Soon after, Will leaves Oz determined to find another love. In the enchanted forest, Will sneaks onto a ball to rob the castle. He meets Anastasia. Her mother took her and her stepsister as well as her other sister to the ball so she would marry the prince.
You believe that if the prince had chosen you instead of your stepsister, then your mother would have loved you.
Anastasia falls in love with Will. Meanwhile, Snow gets a pony for her 15th birthday.
Do you remember your 15th birthday? You wanted a pony. Your father bought one. A miniature horse, really. Tiny as a dog. And he had a trainer work with it for half a year. And then he brought you to the stables, to this sweet little horse. And when you went to it, it did as it had been trained and bowed its head. Another loyal subject eager to honor you. Oh, I've never seen such delight as I did on your face when that tiny horse bowed to you. This is my perfect day, you said. Your father always made sure you got what you wanted. Plus a little bit more.
Snow then wins several riding trophies. Regina is impatient with Rumple's teaching methods and he sends her to Maleficent's castle. The young queen meets the once so powerful sorceress. When she learns about Aurora's wedding, she motivates Maleficent to reignite the spark she once lost and get her revenge. She absorbs the fire from the burning tree in front of her castle. Still struggling with their magic, the two women are captured by King Stefan. Maleficent eventually manages to turn back into a dragon and defeats the king and his men. She then puts a sleeping curse on Aurora and gives Regina another dose of sleeping curse as a thank you, which she uses on Snow's horse. She then tells Rumple she is ready to wait however long it takes to get her revenge. To prevent true love from breaking her sleeping curse again, Maleficent turns Philip into the Yaogwai. Briar Rose and Stefan both die sometime after that.
I have no loved ones.
King Leopold is away from the castle as usual. Regina uses the time to hire a group of bandits to terrorize the people of her kingdom, hoping it would turn the people against Snow. Just as suspected, Snow runs from her responsibility taking care of the bandits terrorizing the kingdom. She falls into a hunter's pit and is saved by Hercules. He tells Snow about his labors and teaches her to stand up to the bandits. Despite the training, Snow fails to stand up to the bandits and Hercules has to chase them away with his godly strength. Snow wants to abandon the kingdom, but Hercules convinces her to fight. She manages to defeat the bandits and kisses Hercules. He then moves on from Leopold's kingdom to complete his final labor to become a god, killing the hellhound Cerberus. However, he is unable to defeat it. Cerberus kills both Hercules and a young woman named Megara. Meanwhile, Rumple summons Cruella and Ursula to Maleficent's castle and promises the three of them their happy endings. He tells them about his plan to retrieve the Dark Curse. Ursula, Cruella and Maleficent get the curse for Rumple and he leaves them to be killed by the Chernobog. The witches manage to escape this demon by working together. After that, the Chernobog manages to break free from its cave. Before it can terrorize the enchanted forest, the apprentice traps it in the sorcerer's hat. Wishing to become a member of Robin Hood's band of thieves, Will Scarlet robs a carriage with the merry men as an initiation act. After a successful robbery, he is sworn in by Robin. Will suggests robbing the Forbidden Fortress, having heard of the gold Maleficent is hoarding. Robin reminds everyone to only go after the gold and not to touch any of the sorceress' magical items. They plan to strike the next day, as Maleficent is currently not residing in her castle. That night, Will returns to Anastasia.
They think we're a believer of their cause, and now their cause is ours.
The next morning, before the merry men head to the Forbidden Fortress, Will asks Marion why she puts up with Robin's thieving life.
She said there's good in him, Will. And when you see the good in someone, you don't give up on them. Especially if they don't see it themselves.
At nightfall the merry men search the castle for Maleficent's gold. Will on the other hand secretly steals a magic-looking glass. Maleficent soon learns about the theft and confronts the thieves.
To the thieves who took from me what is not theirs. Keep the gold if you must. It is nothing more than offal from the bowels of the earth. But return the other treasure you have stolen. For while its power is alluring, it will only bring you misery.
In the morning Will leaves the merry men. Robin figured out it was Will who stole the looking glass, but he lets him go.
You will meet the fate you've earned. The fate you deserve.
That's rich coming from the Prince of Thieves himself.
Today you've shown yourself to be the only thief among us.
Will returns to Anastasia with the looking glass. They open a portal to Wonderland.
Next stop, Wonderland.
Anastasia's mother confronts Will and her daughter before they jump through the portal.
You cannot live on love, Anastasia. And when you learn that lesson the hard way, you will be right back here where you started. But when you come back, bring a bucket. Because the only way you'll be coming back inside my house is to empty my chamber pot. Off with you then.
On a journey to Longbourn, David meets Kristoff. They become friends. In Arendelle, Elsa is due to be crowned queen and the castle gates are open for the public for the first time after her parents' shipwreck. The Duke of Weselton and Prince Hans of the Southern Isles are present for the coronation. Anna and Hans develop a romantic connection and sing a duet.
And I sang with you.
Hans impulsively proposes to Anna, but Elsa objects. The queen then accidentally unleashes her ice powers and flees to the North Mountain. Unbeknownst to Elsa, her magic caused Arendelle to fall under an eternal winter. Anna ventures to find Elsa. On her journey she meets Oaken, Kristoff, Sven, and Olaf, a snowman Elsa brought to life. When Anna finally reaches her sister's ice palace, Elsa accidentally freezes Anna's heart. Only an act of true love can save her. Kristoff rushes her to Hans so he can give her true love's kiss. Elsa is captured. Anna is delivered to Hans, but rather than kissing her, Hans reveals he was actually planning to seize the throne of Arendelle by eliminating both sisters. He locks her in a room and tells the court Elsa's magic killed her. Then he orders Elsa's execution, only to discover she has escaped her detention cell. Anna is freed by Olaf, and they venture into the blizzard outside to meet Kristoff, whom Olaf has revealed is in love with her. Hans confronts Elsa outside, claiming she killed Anna, causing her to break down and abruptly stop the storm. Moments before Hans can kill Elsa, Anna leaps in the way and freezes solid, stopping Hans. Devastated, Elsa hugs and mourns over her sister, who thaws out, her heroism constituting an act of true love. Realizing that love is the key to controlling her magic, Elsa dispels the eternal winter, and gives Olaf a furry small cloud to experience warmth. Hans is banished from Arendelle for his treason and Elsa cancels the trade agreement with Weselton. Anna and Kristoff kiss. Shortly after Kristoff proposes to Anna. Meanwhile in Dunbrock, King Fergus loses his leg after being attacked by Mor'du, henceforth becoming known as the Bear King. In Wonderland, Anastasia and Will sneak onto the royal ball. Before they are caught and thrown out of the castle, Will steals some bread and Anastasia meets the Red King. Anastasia wishes to return to the enchanted forest.
When I first heard about Wonderland, I figured that the wonder was short for wonderful. Not wonder how we're gonna make it.
She wants to steal the crown jewels first, but the Red King catches her and makes her his queen. During the wedding preparations, Anastasia meets Cora. That night, Will sneaks into the castle and confronts Anastasia for abandoning him. He asks her to meet him at their old wagon. Cora eavesdrops. Before Anastasia can go to their old wagon, Cora meets with Will and tells him Anastasia is not coming. Will asks her to rip out his heart, which she gladly does. When Anastasia wants to go meet Will, Cora stops her and shows her Will is not waiting for her. Anastasia then marries the Red King and becomes the Red Queen. In the enchanted forest, Priscilla gives birth to a baby girl she names Grace. She then asks her husband Jefferson not to use his hat again, as it is too dangerous. Meanwhile, Anastasia is stuck in her loveless marriage with the Red King, who keeps sneaking his mistresses into the castle via secret tunnels.
She knew about the tunnels. The king used them to bring his companions in and out of the palace.
Seems I'm not the only one who grew tired of his partnership with you.
The Red Queen's bond with the Queen of Hearts however strengthens, as Cora begins teaching her magic.
I can't understand why the king's so against it.
Oh, I have a feeling you won't have to worry about him for too much longer.
The Red King dies sometime after. It is possible that Anastasia ends up killing him. On a stroll on the beach, King Leopold finds a genie's lamp. He uses his first wish to free him and his second wish to give his last wish to the genie.
In my time, I have granted 1,001 wishes, and I have seen them end poorly 1,001 times. Making a wish comes with a price, and that is why I will never use this wish.
The king then takes him to his castle to meet Snow and Regina. The genie immediately falls for the queen, noticing how lonely she is at court. He gifts her a mirror.
So you can see yourself the way I see you.
And how do you see me?
As the fairest in all the land.
After reading the queen's diary, Leopold tasks the genie to find the man that gave her the mirror and locks his wife in her chambers. Henry delivers the Agrabah viper in a locked box to the castle and asks the genie to take it to Regina. The queen wants to die by snake bite, but the genie suggests killing the king instead. He then uses the viper to murder Leopold. When the snake is found, the palace guard immediately assumes the genie is the killer. Regina only used him. However, fueled by his obsession with the queen, he uses his last wish.
I wish to be with you forever, to look upon your face always, to never leave your side.
Consequently, he is trapped in the world behind the mirror and becomes the queen's magic mirror.
Looks like you got your wish. You will be with me. Forever.
At Leopold's funeral, Snow seeks comfort with Regina, who secretly already plots to kill her stepdaughter.
Congratulations. Your revenge is almost complete.
One down, one to go.
Her mirror suggests a huntsman for the job and shows the queen a huntsman that was raised by a pack of werewolves killing a man in a pub after he threatened to hurt his companion, a wolf with one black and one red eye. He is taken to the castle and Regina tasks him to kill Snow and bring back her heart. However, Snow manages to run from him and uses her head start to write a final letter to Regina. After reading the letter, the huntsman decides to spare Snow and to bring the queen a stag's heart instead. He also gives Snow a whistle should she ever need help. In the meantime, Regina redecorates the castle in a darker aesthetic.
I simply found a black suits me.
She also meets Dr. Vasilier. He gifts her a necklace. When the huntsman returns to court with Snow's letter and a stag's heart, the queen realizes Snow is not dead.
I wanted a heart, and a heart I shall have.
Angrily, she rips out his heart and starts a non-consensual sexual relationship with him.
You're now mine. My pet.
Utilizing Snow's fleeing from the royal court, Regina starts spreading lies about Snow being a criminal and murderer.
Where is she? Where's Snow White?
Scouring the kingdom's villages for Snow, she slaughters everyone in Percival's village.
Many years ago, a boy returned to his village in the enchanted forest to find it ablaze. Villagers screaming, terror in their eyes. His whole world burning like a funeral pyre. The boy hid, praying for mercy. But none came. Only an angel of death. She slid through the flames, relishing in the horror she wrought. But before she escaped, she saw the boy. And amidst the carnage, do you know what she did? She smiled at him.
You were the boy.
And you were the evil queen.
Vowing to get his revenge, Percival becomes a knight of Camelot and joins Arthur's quest for Excalibur. As a young child, Alice follows the White Rabbit down a rabbit hole. She encounters the Caterpillar, the Cheshire Cat and the Red Queen, as well as the Queen of Hearts, and is almost killed by a Bandersnatch.
Something she faced here when she was a child, something that almost killed her, and according to my large-eared friend, is the source of endless nightmares. The Bandersnatch.
As a genie, Cyrus goes on many adventures, including slaying a dragon. He also acquires magic paper. Cora uses the White Rabbit to escape Wonderland. She meets with Tinker Bell, who tells her about her failed attempt to connect Regina with her soulmate. On the anniversary of Daniel's death, Regina notices an unauthorized wedding ceremony on royal lands. She murders the groom and then goes to visit Daniel's grave, where she finds her mother, who claims she wants to help Regina find love again. Looking for the man with the lion tattoo, Cora meets the Sheriff of Nottingham, who tells him about Robin Hood and his wife. Later that evening, Cora introduces Nottingham to Regina, claiming he is the man with the lion tattoo. Regina discovers that his lion tattoo is fake and forces Nottingham to tell her about Cora's plans.
She said she wanted you to have a child, and I don't know why.
While having Nottingham be tortured in the dungeon, the Queen confronts her mother about her scheme. Cora magically sends the sheriff home. Regina then tells her mother that she found a way to eliminate her claims on the throne.
You made it clear you don't think anyone's going to love me. So why not make it official? After all, love is weakness.
She drinks an infertility potion, regretting it immediately after.
I really did come here to help you. I love you. I wanted you to have a child for your own sake. If I wanted to take your power, I'd find a much more direct way. Now, please take one last piece of motherly advice. I hope you learn what it's taken me a lifetime to realize about myself. The only one standing in the way of your happiness is you.
Cora returns to Wonderland. In the woods, Blue helps Snow survive. She also teaches the princess the language of the birds. In the meantime, the Fourth Ogres War starts. Sir Maurice introduces his daughter Belle to Sir Gaston, Lord Legume's son. He wants her to marry him.
Marry him? Are you mad? What does Mother have to say about this?
She agrees with me. I'm not arranging a wedding, Belle. I simply want you to meet him.
Belle and Gaston go on a walk in the woods and find a young ogre in a hunter's trap. Belle asks Gaston to show the creature compassion until they know its intentions. She gives him her favorite book.
Her handsome hero. Interesting. I would have picked you for a fan of cheap romance.
No, this is not like that. This book is about compassion and forgiveness. The things that truly make a hero.
In the castle library, she learns about the Mirror of Souls, a magical object capable of showing whether or not someone had evil in their soul. Returning to the woods, Belle and Maurice find Gaston after the ogre attacked him and escaped. Belle is sent home, while Maurice and Gaston go after the ogre. Belle, however, chases after them, and sees Gaston's evil intentions using the mirror. He tortured the ogre when Belle wasn't there, and that's why he attacked. Belle shows the ogre compassion and lets him go. Back at the castle, Belle learns that the ogres are now at war with Maurice's kingdom.
It's war.
And you blame me.
Blame is not important now.
What I did was the
It
right
was foolish
thing.
and petulant.
No, look, I did what I had to live with myself.
And now we're at war.
Has it occurred to you that our mistreatment of their young could have caused this conflict, not my act of mercy?
She then agrees to marry Gaston for her kingdom's sake. 5 years after their parents' death, Elsa and Anna lay flowers next to their parents' memorial stones. Elsa then gives Anna Gerda's wedding dress and the wishing star necklace. She finds Gerda's diary and realizes that their parents died because of her. Anna is eager to prove that their parents didn't die because of Elsa. Grandpappy tells Elsa and Anna that their parents went to Misthaven instead of the Northern Isles.
What did they want there?
They never said. They, like many of us, had their secrets.
When she is unable to find her sister, Elsa confronts Kristoff.
Don't be coy, answer me.
Easy, Sven. She can't help being bossy.
I'm not bossy, I'm the queen.
Isn't it the queen's job, bossing people around?
She discovers that Anna is leaving for Misthaven. In a distant empire, Mulan fights in the Emperor's army in her father's stead, most likely in the Fourth Ogre War. Meanwhile, Anna has arrived in Misthaven and meets Kristoff's old friend, David. In that moment, Bo Peep arrives at his farm.
You know me, Ruth. You know what I want. My payment.
Your extortion.
Call it what you like. But you and your flock are safe as long as you pay me what's due.
When Ruth and David aren't able to pay her, she brands them and gives them one more day to pay her, otherwise she will take the farm and have the both of them work off their debt as her slaves. Anna tells David to stand up to Bo Peep and teaches him to sword fight. However, he does not want to fight a battle he can't win and tells her how his father lost his battle. But when Bo Peep confronts David and tells him she kidnapped and branded Anna, he decides to fight. He manages to defeat her and rescues Anna.
It was an impossible battle. Which is why I had to fight it.
As a thank you, he gives Anna his father's horse and Ruth gives her the name of a powerful sorcerer who might be able to help her.
Rumplestiltskin.
Back in Arendelle, Elsa learns that Hans and his brothers are forming an army to attack Arendelle. Kristoff wants to check it out, but she forbids it and wants to handle it herself. Kristoff disobeys Elsa and overhears Hans talking about the urn. He tells Elsa. The two of them then venture into the North Valley to find it. However, Hans manages to get his hands on the urn. He unintentionally releases Ingrid from it, who immediately freezes him. Ingrid reveals to Elsa that she is her aunt. In the enchanted forest, Anna strikes a deal with Rumple.
Sure, I'll make a deal. I'll do whatever it takes to help my sister.
Whatever it takes. Oh, I love it when they say that.
He offers to tell her everything about their parents' mission, if she puts a vial of potion into the apprentice's tea. She, however, only spills the potion into the apprentice's fireplace, not able to hurt an innocent to get what she wants.
So you poured it in the tea?
Just as you asked.
And he drank it?
Every last drop.
Good! Then you live.
So now can you tell me why my parents came... Wait, what? What do you mean, live?
He'll live because he drank the antidote you gave him.
Antidote? To what?
Poison?
The apprentice turns into a mouse, because Anna didn't give him the antidote. When she tells the Dark One she was not touched by her inner darkness, Rumple urges her to kill him to get out of her deal and collects her tears.
You take the most precious thing in this world, love, and turn it into a weapon.
Love is a weapon, dearie. Always has been. It's just so few people know how to wield it.
With those he is able to open the sorcerer's box. Honoring their deal, Rumple tells Anna about her parents.
Well, dearie, the King and Queen of Arundel landed on my doorstep with an itsy-bitsy problem. Your sister. They wanted something to take away her powers forever.
With the help of the apprentice, she then manages to get her hands on the dagger and forces him to never harm her or her sister, to turn the mouse back into a man and to send her and the box back to Arundel. Anna and Kristoff reunite. She isn't sure whether she should tell Elsa about what she found out about their parents. Belle's mother Colette dies during an ogre attack and Belle has no memories about how she died. She wants to seek out the rock trolls to restore her memories. Maurice doesn't allow it, but she sneaks out and goes anyway. Elsa and Anna reunite and Elsa introduces her to Ingrid. Anna doesn't trust her and tells Kristoff about her concerns. She plans to ask the rock trolls about her aunt. She also tells him that she hasn't found the courage to tell Elsa what she found. Ingrid overhears this conversation. Belle meets Anna at Oaken's store, who offers her to take her to the rock trolls. Belle tells her about her mother's death and Anna shows her the hat box she stole from an evil wizard.
I just pray you never cross paths with that twisted man.
When you see the future, there is irony everywhere.
Grandpappy gives Belle a memory stone and tells Anna about Ingrid and Helga.
Wait, what?
Ingrid summons a storm that throws Anna off a cliff and destroys Belle's memory stone.
You'll have to excuse us, but this is family business.
She teleports Anna and the hat box back to the Arundel castle. Belle also returns home. Maurice tells her about Colette's sacrifice and Belle convinces him to summon Rumple to have him end the Ogres War.
A hero has to sacrifice everything to save the people they love. And I will do whatever I can to save our land, and I can be a hero just like Mother. And if that means summoning Rumplestiltskin, then so be it.
Ingrid locks Anna in the castle dungeon and reveals her plan to her. She then buries the hat box somewhere in a cave. Rumple finally arrives at Maurice's castle. As a price for a victory in the Fourth Ogres War, he takes Belle with him as a caretaker for his castle.
I will go with you forever.
Deal!
Belle. Belle. You cannot do this. Belle, please. You can't go with this beast.
When they arrive at the Dark Castle, he locks Belle in a cell. A few hours later, Rumple explains Belle's tasks. Scared of the Dark One, she then accidentally drops a cup.
It's chipped.
Oh, it's just a cup.
Ingrid has also returned to the Enchanted Forest. At the foot of the Dark Mountains, she visits the apprentice's cottage and strikes a deal with him. She wants him to find her a third magical sister in exchange for the hat. Back in Arundel, Ingrid tells Elsa that Anna meant to steal her magic using the hat and that she is in the dungeon now. Elsa visits Anna in the dungeon. After she has commanded every guard to leave, she finally tells her sister that she believes she is innocent. She gives her back the star necklace and they plan to find the urn and wrap Ingrid in it. Searching the castle, Elsa, Anna and Kristoff find the urn, as well as a broken mirror and a frozen Hans in Ingrid's original chambers. Sneaking Anna back into her cell, Elsa and her sister pass a painting of their parents.
They're only human. They made mistakes.
they could see you today, I bet they would never ask you to give up a part of yourself.
But they're not here. And we'll never know.
What matters is that your powers make you special. And I wouldn't want you any other way.
Ingrid, however, has figured out their plan.
Surprise! How was that?
She casts the spell of Shattered Sight from the Legend of the Trollden Glass on Anna. Returning to the castle's main hall, Anna confronts Elsa about shutting her out all these years and throws the star necklace into the fireplace. Ingrid shows herself and tells Elsa to freeze her sister. Elsa, however, refuses to hurt her and Anna puts her into the urn.
Do what you will, but know that no matter what, Anna, I love you.
Wait, what?
When she tells her that she loves her no matter what, the spell breaks. Kristoff also shows up. Ingrid then accepts that everyone sees her as a monster and freezes all of Arendelle.
Eventually, everyone sees me as a monster. Maybe it's time to embrace that. And be one.
She then removes Elsa's memories with a memory rock. Rumple appears. He takes the wishing star from the extinguished fire and steals the urn from Ingrid, offering to return it if Ingrid hands up the hat box. The apprentice stops Ingrid from giving the hat box to Rumple. Instead, he gives her a prophecy leading her to her third sister and promising that she will get Elsa back. He then opens a portal to the land without magic and sends her through. Ingrid arrives in Boston in 1982. This creates a small plot hole in the timeline. Since Emma is born in October of 1983, this leaves less than 2 years between Ingrid's arrival in the land without magic and the casting of the first Dark Curse. However, since Snow and Emma are supposed to be the same age in Storybrooke, she has to be approximately 28 when Emma is born. When Regina sends the huntsman to kill Snow, she is still very young, maybe 18. This means that there should approximately be 10 years between this event and the final flashbacks of the pilot episode. Ingrid's arrival in Boston in 1973 would be a lot more likely.
The plot hole, for sure.
She meets a psychic who turns out to be a charlatan.
You have traveled a great distance, but I can help you. Madame Faustina is here. I see a child.
Yes.
A girl who is special.
Yes, she has many gifts. Tell me more.
The child's name is Susan.
Liar! Her name will be Emma Swan. The apprentice's scroll promises this.
In the Enchanted Forest, Anita's daughter, whose mother has supposedly died, introduces her friend Peter to her grandmother. Their friendship grows and one day she makes him let go of his fear of swimming. Soon after, Peter's uncle is arrested for thieving. A villager named Amos Slade one day leaves flowers for Granny, having fallen in love with her. One evening, Granny tells her granddaughter the fairy tale of how Lake Nostos got its magic properties and how the lake's guardian came to be. When the little girl is 10, Granny finally tells her that a hunting party killed her parents. That is of course a lie. Anita's daughter has a relatively normal childhood, helping out with Granny's baking business, picking bilberries in the woods for example. One day, Peter gifts her an arrowhead he made himself, being the blacksmith's son. Soon after, Anita's daughter finds her mother's necklace in her room. Wishing to protect her granddaughter from the wolf inside, Granny seeks out Nubbin. She retains the memories of her husband's death in exchange for an enchanted cloak. Because she is constantly wearing the red hood, people start calling her Red. The day she got that nickname, she is also harassed by a boy named Tucker, but Peter rescues her. She is later invited to a girl named Violet's winter picnic, where she is only humiliated and bullied. Meanwhile, Belle is crying in her cell.
Here. Perhaps this'll help?
For me?
Not quite so beastly now, am I?
Thank you. Maybe now I can actually get some sleep.
No. It's not to help you sleep, dearie. It's to muffle the cry so I can get back to work.
As Rumple tries to quiet her down, a disguised Robin Hood enters the castle and tries to steal a fairy wand. He is caught.
All magic comes with a price. And in your case, that's me.
Belle lets him go. When Rumple learns Robin is gone, he forces Belle to go with him to hunt down the fugitive.
You can't tell what's in a person's heart until you truly know them.
Oh, we'll see what's in his heart, all right. When I shoot an arrow straight through it. And because I am a showman, it'll be with his bow. And because this is your fault, you get to come with me and watch and know as the blood drips from his carcass. It'll be you and your rags to wipe it up.
You really are as dark as people say.
Darker, dearie. Much darker.
On their way, they meet the sheriff of Nottingham. Rumple forces Nottingham to tell him about the thief. He recognizes the bow and tells Rumple and Belle about Robin Hood. When they finally find Robin, they witness him using the wand to heal a pregnant Marion from a severe illness. Rumple decides to spare them and lets them get away. Belle is glad she was right, seeing the good in him, and hugs him. Later at the Dark Castle, Rumple shows Belle the castle's library.
You're not who I thought you were. And I'm glad.
Meanwhile, chased by black knights, Snow likely lost the huntsman's whistle. Back in her village, Red gets invited to Peter's birthday party. Violet mocks her. Red bakes a birthday cake for Peter and is tasked by Granny to go from door to door selling her baked goods. She does that and later meets with Peter, who invites her to take a dip in the swimming hole. They go swimming together. After returning to Granny, Red realizes her necklace is missing. She later sneaks out of the house to go to Peter's party. Arriving early, Red is bullied by Violet and her friends. She hides before Peter and the other guests show up. Granny crashes the party. She takes Red home. The next morning, Red is tasked to get milk, only to discover that their supplier's cow has been killed by a wolf. Red goes to Violet for milk, who tells her Peter kissed her. Upset, Red spills the milk on her way home and Peter gets her new milk. The next morning, Red and Granny find all their chickens killed. Granny finishes a big order for Red's teacher, Miss Cates. At school, Red discovers Violet tricked Granny. Miss Cates didn't order any muffins. She shares them at school, hoping for new customers. Another mean girl, Florence, puts a cow pie in Red's basket. At the market, Red learns Granny's taxes are overdue. She starts stealing and kisses Tucker to avoid being caught. Violet persuades Tucker to tell everyone at school, including Peter, that Red kissed him. Red keeps lying to Granny about her wolf-time nightmares. Later at night, she sneaks into the kitchen to bake cookies. She almost sets the cottage on fire, falling asleep while baking, and later sells them as dog biscuits to Amos Slade. Red plans to find the wizard that enchanted her cloak. Peter goes with her. She meets Nubbin in the woods, who tells her about Anita's enchanted pendant and strikes a deal with Red. Afterwards, Red has fights with both Peter and Granny. She then learns that they are about to lose their cabin because of overdue taxes. She catches up with Herschel, the tax collector, and is willing to give him her necklace to pay off Granny's debts. She also finally tells Peter what happened at the market. Granny tells Red more about the night her parents died. Red leaves poisonous dog biscuits for the wolves. In the morning, they find the biscuits gone and their chickens slaughtered. On top of that, Red finds Amos Slade's dead body. She reunites with Peter and they kiss. She then tells Granny about Amos's death. Nubbin gives Red the magic salve she requested and returns her money, but tells her she needs water from Lake Nostos to complete the spell. At a town meeting, Granny and Red manage to get the Forget-Me-Not ball rescheduled. Peter returns Red's necklace and confesses his love for her. That night, Red kills the wolf and saves Violet's life. When Grendel's wife passes away in Wonderland, he steals the Forget-Me-Not from the Red Queen. She punishes him by turning him into a monster. 2 years after locking his hat away, Jefferson receives a letter from an old friend named William, which says that the Clock of Evermore has resurfaced in Wonderland. He goes to Wonderland, specifically Anastasia's kingdom, and is captured by the March Hare. Priscilla follows him and is killed. Jefferson escapes using the hat and moves into a small cottage with Grace. Belle brings a wounded Samuel to Rumple's castle. When she learns that his injuries were just a ruse and that he means to entrap Rumple in Pandora's box to get his hands on the dagger, she locks him out of the castle. Rumple acquires Pandora's box and banishes Samuel to a swamp. This again creates a small plot hole, since Belle didn't know Pandora's box existed or that Rumple had it in his possession.
I've read about this in my books, but I didn't realize it was real. Or that Rumple had it.
A plot hole, for sure.
Regina accidentally kills Daniel's brother William in the Forest of the Dead and enchants her engagement ring later to always remember Daniel. At some point she also acquires her skeleton keys since they are mentioned in Henry's book and therefore have to have been hers before the casting of the first Dark Curse.
The book said they could open any door.
Alice returns from Wonderland. Her father Edwin doesn't believe her about her adventures and summons Lydgate for psychiatric help. Alice, however, is determined to find proof. One evening during Wolfstime, Red meets Peter at her window. They kiss before Mayor Tompkins' arrival interrupts them. The mayor informs Red and Granny that he is putting together a hunting party to kill the wolf. Granny and Red then prepare the house for potential wolf attacks. The next morning Red finds Snow in their chicken coop trying to steal some eggs. Red allows Snow to stay with them for a bit and they become friends. However, when they leave the shed, they find the entire hunting party slaughtered by the well. Mayor Tompkins immediately holds a town hall meeting. He declares that he wants to send people out again to kill the wolf. Granny then tells the town about her first encounter with a wolf like that.
So your granny's kind of intense.
After the town hall meeting, Red comes up with a plan to kill the wolf herself. Together with Snow, she follows the creature's tracks leading her to her cottage where the wolf's tracks turn into human footprints. Red concludes that Peter is the wolf. She tells him about her theory and ties him to a tree. Meanwhile, Snow is posing for Red at home, wearing her enchanted cloak. When Granny discovers this, it is already too late. Red turns into a wolf and attacks Peter. He is dead, when Snow and Granny finally arrive to turn Red back into a human using the cloak. She then flees from the villagers with Snow. Hiding from the villagers and the Black Knights chasing after Snow, the two of them spend a few weeks together. One night during the next Wolfstime, Red's cloak is accidentally torn and fearing she might turn into a wolf again and harm Snow, they separate. When Red wakes up the next morning she discovers that the tear did not compromise the cloak's magic abilities. She meets another werewolf, Quinn, who takes her to her mother Anita's werewolf den. Anita tells Red the truth about Granny's lies.
She's been lying to you ever since she stole you away from me when you were just a baby.
Why would she do that?
Because she didn't want you to find out the truth about who you really are. She believed the wolf was something to be ashamed of. I see things differently.
She teaches her daughter how to control the wolf within.
How much do you remember?
All of it.
You finally became the wolf.
I don't have to be afraid anymore.
Looking for Red, Snow stumbles upon the werewolf den, unintentionally leading the Black Knights to the wolves' hideout. They attack and kill Quinn before they are defeated by the pack.
Wherever humans go, death follows. The only way to stop them is to kill them first.
Anita wants to execute Snow to avenge Quinn's death, but Red stops her, accidentally killing her in the process.
You chose her. No! I chose me! I'm not a killer!
After burying her mother, Red decides to leave her pack and join Snow, living in an isolated cabin in the woods.
My mother wanted me to choose between being a wolf and being a human. Granny did too. You are the only person who ever thought it was okay for me to be both. Because that's who you are.
Eventually they separate, however. Snow tries to sell her last jewelry to gain enough money for a passage out of the kingdom. Meanwhile, David and Ruth are in financial trouble again and see themselves forced to sell their farm. In the woods, Snow is attacked by a bounty hunter known as the Woodcutter. With Blue's help, however, he is scared away. Both Snow and David then leave for Longbourn. On his journey, David meets the Woodcutter, who seems friendly at first. Snow separates from Blue. The Woodcutter knocks David out with a sedative and steals his dog Wilby to track down Snow.
Oh, mate, you shouldn't take drinks from strangers.
He then traps her in his wagon. David, however, rescues Snow, kills the Woodcutter, and in return she gives him her money so he can save his farm.
Let's get you out of there.
Wait! Don't.
No, it's okay. You'll be safe.
Yes, but it's your safety that should concern you. I've made some enemies. If you see my face, there will be a target on your back.
Okay. As you wish. After I'm gone, you can let yourself out.
When their hands touch, a spark of true love appears and creates a true love sapling growing at their feet.
Knowing you believe in me means I'm not alone.
When David is gone, Snow lets herself out of the wagon. At some point in time, Arthur marries Guinevere. Soon after, he and two of his most trusted knights, Percival and Lancelot, find Excalibur. Sir Kay tries to pull it from the stone first, but is evaporated by its power. Arthur, however, is able to pull the sword from the stone, only to realize the tip is missing.
How will you take the throne with half the sword? What will you tell the people?
Nothing. All they need to know is they now have a king. In the meantime, we have a new quest to begin. We must make Excalibur whole. We must find its other half.
He then shows the sword to the people of Camelot and becomes their king.
Camelot is no longer the broken kingdom.
He then begins his quest for the missing piece of his blade. Arthur unites the different kingdoms in Camelot and lets their leaders sit with him on a round table as equals. Excalibur's stone is the centerpiece of this table. There is only one seat different from the others, the Siege Perilous, which he gives to his most trusted knight, Lancelot.
Many of our order are kings and princes in their own realms. Nonetheless, happy to sit shoulder to shoulder with the rest of their knights. No one of us above the other. Except for this one. This is the Siege Perilous, reserved for the knight with the purest heart, the one destined to carry out the most sacred quests.
Sir Hank Morgan from Connecticut joins King Arthur's court. He goes on a quest for the king, finding the Fountain of Youth or a similar magical entity, making him younger again. Shortly after, he marries a woman from Camelot and they have a daughter.
My father isn't from Camelot. It's just a place he wound up in.
I don't understand.
He's originally from here, this land, from a place called Connecticut.
What?
He never felt at home in Camelot, you know? He always said he was glad that I was born there because being a Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's court is no great shakes.
One of Arthur's Knights of the Round Table, Sir Mordred, usurps Arthur's throne and is killed by him as punishment.
We could usurp Arthur's throne. Did that before for a bit.
Did you? How did that work out?
He killed me, now I'm here.
Sounds like a plan B, darling. Keep thinking.
The years pass and Snow becomes a bandit living in the woods, robbing Regina's carriages to survive. Continuously witnessing Regina's cruelty towards those who help her stepdaughter in any way, Snow starts calling her the evil queen.
I was always the queen. It was you who added evil to my name.
Living up to her new moniker, Regina again massacres an entire village, when none of the villagers are willing to tell her where Snow went after her stay there.
What shall we do now, Your Majesty?
Kill them all. No mercy. Find me Snow White.
She then comes up with a plan to find Snow disguised as a peasant. Rumple agrees to cast a glamour spell on her, as it would have taken her weeks to learn this spell herself.
This is what the world will see.
Excellent. About as regal as a potato.
Careful, dearie. A queen striding amongst peasants might not like what you hear.
Won't matter. When I'm done, you'll be singing my praises over her smoldering villainous remains.
In exchange for the spell, the queen agrees to cut off trade with King George's realm.
King George, why?
I need him bankrupt. What's it to you?
Disguised as a peasant, Regina confronts some peasants mocking the queen and she is arrested by Black Knights for treason. Snow rescues Regina and stops her execution. In the woods she nurses her back to health. Snow says she would be able to forgive her stepmother but takes it back once she discovers the slaughtered villagers.
It is too late for her. I could never forgive her. There's no good in that woman. None. I was wrong. There never was.
What about when she rescued you? The horse. What are you talking about? Your story. About being saved.
I never said it was her.
I read between the lines.
She recognizes Regina but lets her go. Rumple lifts the glamour spell and Regina's transformation into the evil queen is complete.
They'll never love me.
So sad, and yet so true. What are you going to do now, then?
Punish them. The queen is dead. Long live the evil queen.
Regina eventually learns how to cast a glamour spell herself. In their hidden sky kingdom the giants celebrate the bean harvest.
After a century of hard labor, the time of the bean harvest has finally arrived.
Arlo claims that it took them a century of work, however that can't be true since Anton managed to grow magic beans in Storybrooke in a few weeks.
Plot hole, for sure.
Arlo judges Anton's fascination for the humans.
Have you forgotten what the humans did? Why we no longer trade beans with them? They weren't content merely traveling between the realms. They had to conquer and pillage.
Just because a few humans did some bad stuff doesn't make them all evil.
Ignoring his brother's concerns, Anton then climbs down the beanstalk to be with humans. Once King George learns that there is a giant in his realm, he tasks James and Jack to find him. Once they do, Jack gives Anton the magic mushroom she got from her adventures in Wonderland, allowing him to shrink to human size. Jack and James pretend to befriend Anton and when he is told the kingdom is bankrupt, he offers to bring them some of the giant's treasures. When he goes to get the treasures, he accidentally leads the humans to the giant's hideout. Jack, James, and the royal army attack the giants with poisonous blades. Most of the giants are killed. Arlo tasks Anton to destroy the beans. Jack stabs Arlo. Before he collapses, he manages to stab her as well. James abandons her for the giant's treasure.
Please. I'm sorry, Jack. I have a kingdom to run. I'm sure you understand.
Jack dies. Arlo gives Anton the last beanstalk sapling.
I know your path is hard, but someday you will know which road to choose.
He also dies. With the help of Blue, Snow acquires some of the Black Fairy's fairy dust. On her birthday, Guinevere falls for Lancelot. Meanwhile, Arthur is obsessing over the dagger, neglecting his wife. Recognizing that the search for the dagger is Arthur's weakness, Guinevere uses Merlin's gauntlet, which leads her and Lancelot to the Vault of the Dark One. Lancelot is attacked by the darkness and Guinevere rescues him. They share a kiss. The two of them then reach the dagger's chamber, but the cursed blade is protected by magic. The Dark One appears and strikes a deal with them, offering them the sands of Avalon in exchange for Merlin's gauntlet.
One pinch of this can fix anything.
Even Excalibur.
Your husband need never know. After all, what's one little secret, if it means getting your husband back? Assuming, of course, that's, still what you want.
And why should I trust you?
Because I know what happens when a woman's heart is torn between duty and desire. And believe me, it never ends well.
Back in the enchanted forest, Rumple tells Belle about the gauntlet he acquired from Camelot.
How is your trip to Camelot?
Good for me, not so good for Camelot.
Guinevere tells Arthur about her plan of using the sands of Avalon on Excalibur.
I wanted you back, to be the man I loved, my king. But now I've realized I don't want any of it. Not unless it's real.
Arthur takes it from her and uses it on both the Queen and the Kingdom of Camelot itself.
So, I figured it out, why you collect so many magical objects. You have a hole in your heart.
There's only one thing missing from my life right now. Clean clothes.
Doing laundry for the Dark One, Belle is kidnapped. A raven delivers Rumple a message via enchanted sandala that he is to bring the gauntlet to Belle's kidnapper in exchange for her life. Rumple confronts Regina about Belle's kidnapping, who then realizes from his irrational behavior that he has feelings for Belle.
You're emotional over this Belle.
You're lying.
You like this girl.
I own her! Nobody takes what's mine! You're quite lucky it wasn't you. But do not give me any further reason to unleash my wrath, because it won't be pretty.
Pretty. Pretty like Belle.
Don't test me.
I'm not testing you. For once, I'm giving you a bit of advice. Be careful with that shriveled, dark heart of yours. Love is weakness. Didn't you know that?
That night Rumple meets with the Queens of Darkness at Demon's Bluff and trades the gauntlet away for Belle's life. Once Belle is safe, Rumple returns to take back the gauntlet from Maleficent, Ursula, and Cruella.
Whatever you're up to, it'll never work. The game is rigged. The villains never win.
Why don't you join us?
Perhaps we can change the game together.
You severely underestimate me, dearie. I always win. And I win alone. I certainly don't need to join you, Queens of Darkness.
Spring is approaching and Belle tries to open the curtains in Rumple's main hall, only to find them nailed to the walls. When she accidentally falls off her ladder, Rumple catches her. In this moment he starts to realize that he has feelings towards her. In Alice's home world, a realm of story resembling Victorian England, Dr. Jekyll introduces his work to Dr. Lydgate and is rejected. Rumple appears, finishes his serum with magic, and convinces Jekyll to drink it. His alter ego, who Rumple names Mr. Hyde, manages to make Jekyll a member of Lydgate's academy. The next morning, Rumple suggests letting Mr. Hyde tell Mary Lydgate, the doctor's daughter, about Jekyll's feelings towards her. Mary, however, falls for Hyde instead, and they spend the night together. The effects of the serum wear off and Hyde turns back into Jekyll. When Mary finds him in her bed instead of Hyde, the two of them have a fight and Jekyll accidentally pushes Mary out of a window. He then transforms back into Hyde and flees. When Rumple learns Hyde was capable of love, he angrily steals Mary's cameo necklace and sends Hyde to the land of untold stories. In his magic lessons with Amara, Jafar is willing to let his former friend Akil die, so he can use his liver for a masking spell. Soon after, Amara tells Jafar about the spell of the 3 genies, which requires 3 genies that were originally cursed by a deity like Nyx. With this specific spell, the laws of magic can be broken for its casters.
Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. And then Jill went to see the Dark One, and he agreed to fix Jack's crushed skull for a price.
Collecting on a deal, the Dark One kidnaps Jack and Jill's newborn baby.
Put down that child.
Let me guess. Fairy godmother.
Yes. My duty is to protect him.
His fairy godmother, the Blue Fairy, is unable to protect him due to their contract.
Why didn't it work?
Because of, this. Our deal. You agree to my terms, and I get to collect.
Rumple tasks Belle to take care of the child in his absence. She reads her handsome hero to the baby and wants to find out what Rumple is planning for him. In Rumple's tower room, she finds an ancient fairy incantation which she manages to translate. Rumple then shows up, takes both the child and the translation, and locks her in the tower room. Soon Blue appears. She frees Belle and tells her about the Black Fairy, leaving out important details and twisting the truth a bit.
I thought that all fairies were good.
She used to be good, once.
What happened?
No one knows exactly, just that her heart blackened and she stopped defending the children that she was meant to protect. She started stealing them instead. Which means that that child is in grave danger. Rumple is trying to use it to lure her.
But why? What could possibly be so important that he'd want from her?
I wish I knew.
That's a lie.
We don't do that.
A lie.
Rumple uses Belle's translation of the fairy incantation and the baby as bait to summon Fiona and confronts her about abandoning him as a child.
No. It can't be.
Oh, I'm afraid it can be. Mother. That's right. Rumplestiltskin is your son. Of course you would know that. And you bothered to even give me a name. And now you are going to answer my question. Why did you abandon me?
Funny that the Dark One should ask such a thing. Sometimes you have to choose power over love.
She doesn't answer his questions and disappears when they are interrupted by Belle. Belle then returns the baby while Rumple watches from a distance. Meanwhile, Jafar and Amara acquire the first genie's bottle. In the enchanted forest, Robin Hood returns the stolen wand to the fairies. Marian stumbles upon Snow White. She helps her hide from the Queen's knights. Violet's mother gifts her daughter a horse named Nicodemus. She dies shortly after because of magic.
My mother gave it to me for my 7th birthday. She was a champion rider. But, she passed away before I even learned to gallop.